Welcome back to Live for Love TV. Again, today is the 19th day of the 12th month of the 22nd year inside the 21st century. Hope everyone's doing really well out there. This is part two of the You Cannot Be Serious series that I'm going to be doing. I did part one had a religious connotation. This one's going to have a scientific connotation. So it's You Cannot Be Serious, part two. Now, originally, scientists who were the ones who, in the Enlightenment period, who challenged the religious order of the day, especially in England, in Europe, and then in America, basically said these things in the Bible are unproven, absolutely unproven, and there's no reason that we should believe it, you know. And that's what they called the period of enlightenment, when science started to say science, because science really means to be able to prove something, yeah. So this is what they came up with. This science, some of their theories, it became their theories, and even though a theory and a proof is two different things. But anyway, so one of these things that they believed was the Big Bang Theory. Now I know that it's adapted since the time it first came out, but I'm going to go back to when I first heard about the Big Bang Theory and what the Big Bang Theory was. And in the beginning they say it was completely void, it was nothing, it was silent, there was nothing there, yeah, and it was silent. And then they called it the Big Bang Theory because it was an explosion, an absolute explosion, and that explosion would have been the first sound, so therefore it would have been a very big bang. And in that explosion, everything started to expand. And in that expansion, we got the sun, the moon, and the stars, which you can see today. You can see the sun today, and you look up tonight, you'll see the stars, hopefully, and the moon. And you'll see everything and in its position and how it is. And I always thought to myself when I first heard this theory, I thought, these people, they say the Bible is unfounded, and they come up with a theory like this. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, that's why I say you cannot be serious, this theory. Listen to what they're saying. I like to use analogies so people can understand why I'm laughing and why I'm saying it. Anybody, have you ever walked past what we used to say in the old days was a breaker's yard, a scrap yard, you know, where old cars went and old bits of cars went, yeah? If you remember how they used to look, you know, I don't know if they still have them, if people deal with old bits and parts of cars, but they used to have breakers and car places all over the place where you got little bits and bobs. And you go past one of them and you just see bits all over the place. They got this here, that there, but you know, there's no full cars there. There's bits and bobs all over the place, just all, you know, nuts and bolts, you know, panels, everything from a car that you could possibly want. They're there in this breaker's yard. And if I threw a bomb, let's use the Big Bang Theory. If I threw a bomb, I got some dynamite or a bomb, and I threw it, and I said, wow, I'm gonna throw that in there. And then when I throw it in there, all of a sudden, you've got beautiful BMWs, fully made. You've got beautiful, German cars, Volkswagens, all the Porsches, you've got the Hondas, every car you could think of, perfectly made, perfectly sprayed, perfectly in proper distance. Out of all of those bits, that's what I've just done. I've just thrown a bomb in there, and all of a sudden you look there and you think you're looking at a showroom. This is the greatest car showroom I've ever seen. Everything is perfect. That's a bit like how I see the Big Bang Theory. You're saying there's an explosion, but yet the moon is exactly the right place, the right shape and the right place from the sun. The sun is the right place from the earth. The stars are the right place from one another, so that everything runs perfectly and nothing really crashes into anything. Unbelievable. And this is a theory. This is what they can actually come out and tell us. And because we are not really taking our telescopes and looking up there and using our common sense, sometimes we come out with this type of stuff. Now, when you challenge them, they start coming up with, well, there's some sort of intelligent design behind it, but there's no God. There's an intelligent design behind the universe, but there's no God doing it. But who's the intelligence? Who designed? I mean, it beggars belief when you hear the excuses that people make when you start to challenge them. And it's the same that used to happen with scripture. You challenge somebody in scripture, and then they come up with some answer that some maybe preacher or pastor is giving them to give to the rest of the people who dare to question it. And then that answer leads to 10 more questions that were more difficult than the one they tried to answer in the first place. Same thing that's happened with the Big Bang Theory. So when people give you answers that really are nonsensical. They always lead to more and greater questions. That's why sometimes you need to be quiet. If you don't know the answer and somebody asks you something, just be quiet. Don't come up with a silly answer, because it just leads to deeper and deeper questions. And this is what's happened with science. Science keeps moving the goalposts, constantly moving. No matter whenever you try to catch them in some of their so-called theories and their because remember, the Bible was made on beliefs, and they said the beliefs cannot be proven. But you can't prove a theory either, because when you prove a theory, it's no longer a theory, is it? It's a fact. So all these theories that we've been hearing are unproven also. But these are the people who discredited the scripture and are now giving us their version, as far as I'm concerned, of scripture. But man always wants to be God. Man always wants to say he knows what he doesn't know, and he constantly portrays these things. That's why I say this is part 2 of You Cannot Be Serious, the Big Bang Theory. See you soon. Live for Love TV.
One step more.